Hey, what's up everybody? It's your girl, Miss Angel 904, your host of The Town is Talking, and I'd like to welcome you to a special artist series edition of The Town is Talking. On today's show, we have two of Duval's heavy hitters. We have the man behind hip hop, Mal Jones.
We made Florida history, y'all.
And Ask Me If I Care.
This is Raw, frontman.
Jay Lee, the drummer for Ask Me If I Care.
Kyle is the bass player from Ask Me If I Care. You're watching The Town is Talking.
Yo, here I just go with another flow, molecule slow, rapping, but I just speed it up fast. While I'm about to come through with another glass of water that's half full, and then I just smash, just coming through, just getting off my ass. Yeah, I didn't even say it with the SS, but I know that I'm just that quite fresh. Yes, y'all, I'm your host, Mal Jones. We made Florida history, y'all. You know what I'm saying, with this hip hop right here.
So I'm standing here with the man behind hip hop, legendary Mal Jones. Thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Of course. So what got you into hip hop?
Like being like early involved in the jazz. Like my father was a jazz musician, and I used to grow up watching him jam out with other musicians, and just the camaraderie between artists, and he had me like doing poetry and reciting poetry in jazz clubs that he performed in when I was like 5 years old. I used to recite Shakespeare and stuff for his friends and inside the local jazz clubs in the city.
That's awesome.
And then my brother, like as hip hop, like it started its early genesis, my brother was involved in like directly involved with Kool Herc, also at the park jams that were outside, like the hip hop jams outside of New York. Like that's where people will tell you like hip hop started, like in the parks outside.
Exactly.
And that's why I do what I do. It's like I have an early like
traditional hip hop.
Yeah.
I love that.
That's what also made me like a folk musician, because I have family like roots in the cultures.
Right. And we got a lot more in common than I thought. I mean, Shakespeare and poetry. Look at this guy. Amazing, isn't he?
Not a poet.
Now on the first Wednesday of every month, you have this show called The Lyricist Live Show.
Yep.
Tell us about that.
Well, Lyricist Live is like a live outside hip hop cipher that I put on every month as the Jacksonville Art Ball.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's like a it's a visual audio representation of hip hop in the golden era, like on display. Like I started it as being like hip hop as a work of art that you can see as a display piece, just like you would see a painting or anything like that. And that's what I wanted to bring to the art walk, because it didn't have that type of culture. Like it was really watered down, and it really didn't have any ethnic culture to it. So I wanted to just bring that to the Jacksonville Art Walk. So I do these live hip hop shows every month, and every one of them is themed specifically for that month.
Right.
That way I can involve like a variety of artists that are relevant to whatever theme that I'm doing.
Exactly.
So it gives everybody their shine at their own certain time throughout the entire year.
That's
and it's
awesome.
almost like an album that just keeps rotating with 12 tracks. Like it's just me and the artists in the city featuring on this 12-track album that goes on, for 5 years now. So we in rotation. We going on the 5th rotation.
Wow, that's crazy.
Of this live hip hop show downtown.
So what makes you think, or what would you say has kept this show going as long as it has been for 5 years? Like that's crazy. Normally
Sacrifice.
Sacrifice
and hard work, and being able to just have creative control over it. I do everything that is involved with creating the cipher and keeping it going every month. So it's just like I'm the one that's making sure that it travels on and keeps going on every month. It's so much hard work, just to keep it going, but the people of Jacksonville want it every month. This
Exactly.
is what they actually
Something they crave
yeah,
almost.
so they want it and they're expecting it, so it's just happening, you know. And now 5 years down the line, it's almost like it's running itself.
Exactly.
You know, at first it was a lot of hard work and sacrifice, but now it's just like, okay, we're getting the city's, you know, sponsorship. We're getting the city behind what we're doing, so you know it's working out really good. I mean, the city's keeping it going now.
Well, congratulations on that accomplishment, seriously.
Thank you.
And you're right, you know, hard work and sacrifice definitely does pay off. So I know you have a son. Is he following in his daddy's footsteps of hip hop, or that's not his cup of tea?
I think it's just natural to him. Like, that's just another thing, like, about his young life. You know? It's really not forced on him, and you know, he just sees it as a way that people express themselves. It's an outlet for him that he owns, that he's a part of. So he can hop in and out of it as he wants to, because he grew up in it. That's the part
what
of
he
him.
knows.
That's a part of him. So, you know, he loves doing it. You know, he also loves other things that have nothing to do with it. You know, he would rather be playing a video game than being at the cypher some days. And then some days he would rather be out there, you know, doing the cypher. You know, he's just a kid, but you know, hip hop is like that. It's like it kids can relate to it so much that they feel like that's they have a connection with it. You know?
That's awesome.
That's why it's so successful, like, what I'm doing downtown. Yep.
Well, I want to also add that, I mean, when I was on your page one day, I saw this powerful social media photo of you and your son, and I think it was protesting the Eric Garner case. Wow, I mean, do you two normally attend protests like that, or what made you want to get involved with that movement?
Another thing that just roots back to my family. Like, my father and his brothers, they were all like heavy into the civil rights movement. My father actually witnessed Malcolm X's assassination. He was right there in the Autobahn and seen it. I used to always hear the story. My mother used to always tell me about how my father came home like crying and about the day he was actually there. But just growing up around that type of environment, my family environment, just leads me to, like, you know that I have a duty to, like, kind of represent my people, you know, and speak on behalf of my people, you know, even when they can't speak for them, you know. And that's what I teach my son, and he, you know, that's another thing that's natural to him. He just comes and sees it. It's not. These are things that we have to expose our kids to early, because this is what's gonna, you know, save them, you know, save their lives, possibly, you know. So I try to, you know, give that to all the kids, a little bit of activism and, you know, focusing on issues that are important to them, that's going to be important to them.
Exactly. Would you consider yourself a new activist for civil rights, or it's just something that's just a part of you that you just enjoy doing?
I wouldn't say I'm an activist for civil rights. I'm an activist for human rights and just how humans should be treated. Like, you know, it's just natural. Like, you know, things that you see that you know are wrong, you stand up. You stand up and you speak out against them, you know. I mean, that's everybody's obligation. Everybody that wants to live in a free world where they can do shows like this and, you know, do what I'm doing downtown, you got to be able, because there's people that don't want you to do it.
That's true.
So if you don't speak up and show people that you should speak up, then there could be people that could take it away from you, and you have no power then once it's gone, you know.
That's true. So you were the first hip hop artist to be archived by the Florida Folklife Foundation. Tell us about that.
In 2013, Blade Wayne, who's a state folklorist for the Florida Folklife Foundation, the Florida Folklife Foundation has been documenting folk art like jazz and country folk, and been documenting this art form in Florida for the past 36 years.
Oh, wow.
And it's state funded, and they've never documented a hip hop artist as a folk artist.
Right.
But because of what I do, because I'm outside in the street with the people, and I actually have family roots in music culture,
Right.
that's what made me a folk artist. So he saw what I did and he researched it and he said, hey, what you're doing, you're making up the music as you go along and you're interacting with the people. He's like, that's a folk art. So for the first time in history, a hip hop artist got archived by the Florida Folklife Foundation.
Wow.
And,
Congratulations.
yeah, and so that was a historic event. And the second time I made history was performing at their festival, the Florida Folklife Foundation Folk Festival that goes on down in Swanee like every year. And that festival has been running for 61 years
wow.
before the foundation started. And I got to perform at their festival. First hip hop artist, first rapper they ever had there.
How that make
That
you
was
feel?
cool. It was cool, man. It was cool. You know, the people down there were cool. They you can tell they weren't used to that, but you know, they loved it still.
good.
You know, just the exposure, they loved it. So
I'm glad
it
to
was
hear
great.
that. So you put together educational programs at the library, and then you also speak at universities. Tell us what made you start getting into that.
Well, just from what I did with the Cultural Council and just meeting the people that I've met, a lot of them were, you know, asking me what it was that I wanted to do with what I was doing, because there was a lot of things I could do in the educational field, you know, and I had already, with the Lyricist Live, had developed a relationship with Dr. Melissa Hargrove, professor of ethnographical studies at UNF, and she was interacting with my cipher and kind of teaching her class by showing them how the culture through a cipher is run. So she kind of had it like infused it with her curriculum, and then had me do like a couple speaking engagements with the class. And I came in and spoke at a couple of her and lectured at a couple of her classes. And then from that, I started trying to work with younger kids, you know, like being that my son is 11 years old, I wanted to work with kids in his age range so he can kind of work with me. Like, you know, I started doing that in early 2013, and after I did the Boys and Girls Club in Fernandina Beach, it just started, you know, things just started happening, and people started contacting me about other programs, and it just gave me the ideas. Like, I might not have had a program before, but just for the fact that somebody calls me wanting one, I'll develop one, and it'll end up working. You know, it'll end up working for them. So
tell us about your accomplishments and the awards that you have won.
Accomplishments. My biggest accomplishment is just being able to touch people's lives. Like, you know, just being able to be a part of something that people can recollect that's positive. Right. You know what I'm saying? I've gotten recognized for the things I do, and I appreciate it. In 2012, I got the Hip Hop Preservation Award. DuvalHipHop.com. That's like they created that award because of what I was doing. Like, it didn't exist before I got it. And that's what I really appreciate about it, is that they saw what I was doing and they wanted to recognize it, even though it didn't have a title. Right. Like, you know, there's like, we gotta create a title, and that's what I try to do. I try to create new things and new ideas and put them in people's head instead of doing the same old thing over again. In 2013, I got the RC's Living Legend Award. Duval. That was July, I think, 2013. And then at the same year, I got the Community Foundation of Northeast Florida grant for 2013. And then after that, in the same year, I got, the year after that, 2014, I got awarded the Spark Grant by the Community Foundation of Northeast Florida, and that was a great thing. Both grants, you know, I wrote the last grant, so that was one of my big accomplishments, you know.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Congratulations again.
Thank you.
So tell everybody where they can find you at on social media.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram, Malls Mind, MALSMIND. And you can also find me on Facebook, Mal Jones.
Thanks again for being here on The Town is Talking, Mal.
All right, thank you for having me.
Yeah, we so hard with it. God spit it. Yeah, in the Bible, that's how we write recitals. Molecule come through, I'm like the tiger. In Japan, strike you like the viper. Yeah, getting much hyper. Everybody know, yo, pass around the lighter. Light it up, put it in the sky for my dead homies. That's how I do, man, I spit it, yeah, I'm never lonely. Even though my mom and my pops passed, MCs be talking around all that hot gas. Don't wanna hear it, they just full of hot air. When I come through to knock them out the sky right there. They just land in the middle of Main Street. Coming through deep, yeah, none of them can play me. I don't wanna hear, no fear. Just jump in it, get it right here. Don't be afraid to grab the mic though. Just gotta grab it, yeah, spit it like Michael. He was just like, and he wasn't scared to do it. Put a donation in the box, let's get to it. We just gotta do it. You support it. A man, your whole style get aborted. Yeah, and then it just gets snorted. That's how we do, yeah, the whole session is recorded. Peace to my man, Director Carlos. That's how we do, man, yeah, we gonna bomb most. We just the army. Come